Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Higher Moment Mastermind. I'm Shira Lotzar, happy to be your host. I'll join, at least at the moment, by Vern Schellander, Schellander, my colleague. I'm hoping that Alki Thompson will be available to join us as well. We are all in the HR space. I'm a recruiter and a career coach. Vern is a former HR exec and a career coach, and Alki is a recruiter. And so we have lots of wisdom. Oh, here's Alki. That's great. So lots of tips to share. So the way that we have been working this recently is we're going to have sort of a combination of an open Q&A for any job seeker questions that you have, but we also want to encourage some networking. We're really trying to lean into that piece of it because networking is the way that most people get jobs because of the hidden job market, right? We know that when you send your resume into the job portals, it often gets into the black hole. All kinds of reasons for that, a real crowded market. There's even AI bots that are doing fake resumes now. It's a little ridiculous. And so
Mhm.
there's a reason why you're typically not hearing back from employers. Although I will tell you, and I'll probably try to mention this as I can. There's one little tool here that I've recently become aware of as a friend of mine, Julie, who uses this tip a lot. And if you are interested in expanding your search on the job boards, not that I encourage you to spend all your time on the job boards by any means. However, if you would like to expand your search, I do recommend using what some people call the Google aggregator. And basically, all that means, I'm sure I see some head nods.
Yeah.
All that means is you can do it right this second if you want. Just open up a search bar, just presuming you're on Google, any search, right, regular search, and then just type in your job title, for example, marketing jobs near Washington, D.C., that kind of thing. When you do, at the top of that next page, there will be a little button that says jobs. Click on jobs. And then all of a sudden, you're going to come up with a whole bunch of listings, almost like Expedia Orbitsy kind of look, right? Where what'll happen is you'll have all of the jobs on the left side and on the right side as you click, right? Each job will open. But what makes it interesting is that Google is aggregating from all the job boards like everywhere, right? So to give you an example, so when you pull up the job on the right side, it's going to say where that job is posted. Yes, it might be LinkedIn or Indeed. However, it could be some very funky job boards too. So for example, when my friend Julie was showing me this tool, we did marketing jobs near DC, and there was this job that was posted by NBC Universal, like NBC. And the job board that they had posted it on was showbizjobs.com. Now, why in the world would I or you ever know about showbizjobs.com? But we now know because of this aggregator. Okay. So my point is that you might have access to jobs that are not on normal job boards just because Google is aggregating. So that's my one little tip of the day for the job boards. Not that I want you to spend a lot of time there, but you could certainly expand your search that way. What we really want to do is provide, again, some opportunities for networking as well as for some open Q&A. So what I'd like to do now, we're kind of iterating this. We've been doing this for a few months and trying to iterate and figure out kind of our rhythm. And what I would like to do is actually start with the networking piece, and then we will go into the job search. So let me tell you how we're going to do the networking. We're keep refining this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, for those of you who've never heard this concept, I'm going to teach you. I'll do this over and over again, so that everybody's aware. We have a concept here that we call lane versus community. Lane versus community. Your lane is what you do. Your community is who you do it for. So your lane, for example, is marketing or human resources or accounting or customer service or project management or legal, whatever, like Mark's an attorney, like whatever your lane is, that's what you do. It's almost like a job title. But your community is the industry, mission, or sector that you do it for. Okay. So it's nonprofits, or environmental nonprofits, it's a commercial real estate, it's associations, whatever it is. And I say that because that's actually the way that employers view you. Number one, they do. They think about what you do, they think about who you do it for because they're trying to mitigate their risk. And in so doing, they'd love to know that you know how to do the job and hopefully you come from their sector. Well, the reason why that's important for your networking is because that's how you're going to find the hidden jobs. You're going to find the jobs with the people who do what you do and hopefully do it where you do it. And what we're trying to do is help you maximize your networking. Focus, focus, focus. Okay. And I have a concept that I call twins and siblings and first cousins and second cousins. So your twins professionally are the people who do what you do. They're actually your very best referral source. The people who do what you do. They're not competitors, they're competitive mates, because they are likely to hear about jobs that are not right for them, but could be right for you. We recruiters go under that premise all the time, right? Alki and I, we recruit all the time, right? And so we're going and searching for people, and we're like, let's say we're looking for a marketing professional, right? A director of marketing. So we're going to go to LinkedIn and we're going to put in director of marketing. This is how we do it, by the way. This is how you can do it yourself. This is how we do it to find you. And we find all the marketers and we go, hey, Susie Cream Cheese, we've got an opportunity. Who do you know that might be a good fit? We recruiters say that all the time. Who do you know that might be a good fit? Well, we hope that the person we're writing to is a good fit, but if they're not, we hope that they're going to say, oh, my friend Monica, my friend Stephanie, my friend Abby. Why? Because of birds of a feather. We assume that marketers are going to hang out with other marketers. It happens all the time. Accountants will hang out with other accountants, customer service with other customer service. It's just the way people tend to network. Therefore, if you're networking intentionally with the people who do what you do, you're more likely to hear about hidden jobs. Similarly, if it's also with people who are in your community, your industry, mission, or sector, there's even more of an opportunity there. So what we'd like to do is then we're going to go around the room, since we're kind of small right now. We're going to go around the room, and what we're going to do is have you all, if you're comfortable, sharing your lane and community. We're not going to do a story. We're not doing backstory of where you've come from and all the things. We're going to keep it super, super tight for the sake of time, because as soon as you do that, in fact, Alki and Vern, if you can help me jot down notes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to break you out into breakout rooms, small breakout rooms, like 2, maybe 3 people, best as possible, to try to pair you up with people who are kind of in a similar lane or community. And here's what you're all going to do. And I'm going to teach you this method right now. If you're comfortable, by the way, that part of the breakout will not be recorded. Okay. So it's a little more private. What you're going to do is you're going to open up your LinkedIn, and you're going to share your screen. And this is a twist that I'm adding here that we haven't done before. What I'd like you to, again, if you're comfortable, share your screen, open up your LinkedIn, share your screen, so that the other person can see your contacts. So what you're going to do is you're going to put in, again, let's say the person's looking for a marketing role. You're going to put in marketing in your search bar. You're going to hit enter, and you're going to hit the first button, and all your first level contacts who have anything to do with marketing are going to show up. The other person, you and the other person can quickly look through and say, oh, wait, Susie Cream Cheese. Wait, she looks really interesting. And then that other person can say, okay, jot down the names of those people, and then offline you guys can do some introductions. Okay. Now there are more subtle ways to do this. When we come back to the call, we can talk about how to make those intros. But for the moment, I simply want you to do some mixing and matching, right? So one person's going to look at the other person's profiles quickly and go click, 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 person, name, write it all down so that you can work offline. So before I do that, let me just show you quickly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to play pretend here, and I'm going to pretend that Alki's my breakout partner, and I'm going to pretend that Alki is looking for a director of marketing position. And I'm going to do this. Okay. So we're in a breakout room together, and I've just pulled up my LinkedIn. I'm sharing my screen, and I'm going to just put marketing, or I'll just put marketing directors. You can do, whatever feels appropriate. But you could also be more specific. It's like marketing nonprofit or marketing commercial real estate or whatever. And so I have marketing directors. I've just hit enter. I'm hitting the people button. That's the next step. Now I'm going to hit the first button. Now that's all my first level marketing professionals. See, director of marketing, director of membership marketing, director of marketing. And yes, I've got a lot of them, but that's okay. We can just spend a couple minutes, and Alki I'll scroll, and he'll pause and he'll look and go, wait a second, Michelle, she looks kind of interesting. Maybe we'll open up her profile, or maybe we'll just kind of scan down, but we'll just take a few minutes to do that. Hopefully you all exchange contact information have an offline chat, and then do this for real. This is really more of a taste test since we don't have a whole lot of time today. We're teaching you how to do this meaningfully with your colleagues so that if you hopefully have that online coffee chat, you can take the hour, 30 minutes each person or whatever it is, and really deep dive and go through each other's connections. Okay. So that's kind of the point of what we're doing here. So again, I know we've had a couple people come in the call as I've been talking. So real quickly, I'm going to say one more time. When we go into breakout, we're going to go around the room. Everybody's going to say their lane, which is your profession, your community, if you have a community, which is the your sector or industry. We're going to break you out into rooms. We're hopefully pair you up appropriately, share your screen, open up your LinkedIn, share your screen, put in the name, the title, or the phrase that relates to your the the person's going to put in the basically the keywords that relate to the kind of job you're looking for. Hit enter, hit the people button, hit the first button, and then you're going to come up with first levels. And that other person is going to look screen down and say, okay, these are the people I'm interested in meeting with. Offline, you can have a deeper conversation. Okay. So that's my little fire hose for the moment. Alki or Vern, is anything you want to share just to kind of refine what we're doing? Because we're iterating here. But this is the last few months we've been playing around with this. Any other thoughts for the moment?
Just to emphasize that in doing this, what you're trying to find is someone else who has a first connection
Mhm.
that is related to the type of job you're looking for, and that person then could introduce you to their first
That's right.
connection.
That's right.
Right? They could, and as Shira said, we'll talk about that, exactly how you reach out to them and that type of thing.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So with that, let's go ahead and do round robins. And or I'm going to do person by person. But again, I just want to emphasize this since we have very, very little time. No story here. We don't have time for the story right now. Literally, I need you to say, hi, my lane is customer service, project manager, marketing, whatever, and my community. If you have one, you may not have a community. A lot of people are cross-sectoral. That's fine. But if you do have a community, just say it, or maybe two communities, but not a whole lot. We just want to keep it super, super focused. Is that cool? Everybody nod? Yes? All right, great. So I'm going to tell you who's who. And Vern, Alki, and I will take some notes so that we can then properly match you up. All right, Monica, then Dave, then Abby.
Okay. Well, my name is Monica Jerby. I'm a communications, marketing, multimedia person. My traditional community has been international development, USAID. And so I'm trying to transition to my first cousins, which would either be nonprofits or military intelligence, which is a difficult switch because I usually am a Sergeant Schultz.
Thank you, Monica.
Okay.
All right, Dave, and then Abby, and then Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Dave MacPherson, and I work as a computer programmer in a very specialized part of SAS. SAS is the statistical system. And my recent lane as a contractor has been the federal contracting space, but I can actually be in other lanes as well. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so we're going to go with Abby, then Stephanie, then Matthew.
Got it. Hi, everyone. I'm Abby. My lane is strategic partnerships and business development. My community has been historically big tech.
Okay, got it. Great. Um, Stephanie, Matthew, and then Maura.
Good morning, Stephanie Thangavelu, and traditionally my lane has been program management and partnerships. I've also done business development as well. With USAID, community is around inclusive education.
Very
All right.
diverse crowd here today. Matthew, Maura, and then Mark.
Good morning, everyone. My lane is product management, and my community is healthcare, IT, or healthcare sector.
Everyone. My name is Maura Danahy. My lane has been in public affairs, really at that intersection of policy, operations, and communications. And my community has spanned everything from public service to the private sector. My future community is in that association, nonprofit, health-focused space.
Got it. Okay. And then Mark.
My name is Mark Pretzat. I'm an attorney, and I've worked in the financial services banking community.
Great. Oh, that's right. We have two Marks today.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's good. All right. Okay. And the other Mark?
Yeah, my name is Mark Gilbert. Was most recently in an engineering management kind of position, but my typical kind of role has been business and engineering consulting. I'm looking at shifting to another industry. I was in a federal kind of position.
Got it. Okay. And Julie, if this is the Julie who's normally with us, Julie, we're doing lane and community before we do some LinkedIn shifting. So Julie, are you open? Feel free to share your lane and community.
Um, so I think I'm unmuted now.
Yeah, you're good.
So I am an attorney and I also do congressional relations, but I can't do congressional relations in the private sector. So I'm focusing on attorney, legal, project finance type of work, in an industry agnostic, probably most helpful in energy and lending, in the DC area. And I've had 2 interviews in the past 2 weeks.
For you. Excellent. We love to hear that. Okay. So I have been pairing people up on my Word doc. I'm going to share my doc here. I'm loosely thinking this is how we're going to do it. If anyone has any suggestions, I'm thinking Monica and Maura, only because there's some like a comms sort of lens there a little bit of nonprofit. I'm actually thinking of Dave, Mark and Mark, who have sort of an IT sort of bent. Abby and Stephanie have some BD in there, and then Mark and Julie. I know Mark and Julie, you've already met offline, but hey, always good to reconnect, right? But you still have always been our pairs because of kind of what you do. Anybody have any shifts to this? Does it look okay? All right. Hearing no other comments from the peanut gallery.
I'm glad you were doing that. I was putting it in the chat.
Okay, fabulous. Is that fair? Did those pairings look good? All right. So I'm going to do this while I do this. Let's just so that we don't have too much space in time. If anybody has one job search question that you want to ask, Vern and Alki, feel free to answer it. And then as soon as you finish answering that question, then I'll put people in breakouts because this is going to take me a couple minutes to do.
Well, mine's actually really quick, and it's one question. It's been recommended based on the listings that Flex Jobs is perhaps the best paid search that would expand on Google Aggregator. Okay. I love the aggregator, but it's not doing enough for me now. So I'd like commentary from the panel about any of the paid job search services that you recommend or not.
Alki, do you want to take that?
Yeah.
I kind of don't, Dave, but thanks a bunch. So I'll say outright, though I have years of touching all of those at some point. I'm not perfectly up on this shifting game of job boards as far as from week to week. I think I have a general thing that I would say. What I know about Flex Jobs, Dave, I don't know about cost value and what's worth it or not, but I know that it does give you kind of like all the job boards. They all give you a different flavor, a little bit of a different flavor. LinkedIn is kind of like super professional, and you can find a lot of officey professional type things that you're getting more there now. Indeed has some of that too, but it's a lot technical. Flex Jobs, I mean, it's in the name. A lot of flexible job situations and structures, but it's never been like a go-to for me. But I do know people who are looking for flexible situations go there a lot. I think the job boards that you use and right now is just crazy time because there's no guarantee what you're going to get from any job board. I talked to a lot of people and they say they're not getting anything. And then I talked to somebody the week before last who said, yep, I went on there right away and I've already, got 4 or 5 interviews. So it depends on the industry, I think. And I think you all look and see the amount of available jobs in your lane or your community. I think that kind of speaks to where you need to spend most of your time. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah. Dave, how would you help me understand flex jobs?
Well, flex jobs, I think you can get it for a few dollars for a couple of weeks. All right.
Okay.
It's
So short
supposed to
term.
be superficially for, flexible working and maybe at home. But one fellow job seeker was showing it. They're very detailed descriptions, and they're supposed to include salary information, and they're supposed to do other things too. I think they're very attractive to this person that was looking. I don't know how effective, but I just thought I haven't gone the pay route yet, and I just wanted to know if flex jobs is a
I,
good option or maybe some of the others. That's all.
I would on the money end, which is a good point to make. At this point, anybody who can afford it, who looks up and says, wherever you are in your job search, if you have the money to try something new, which I would browse first before I pay anything. But if you have the funds to try something new, and especially if they have a trial, and especially if you feel like, yep, I've already used up all the other job boards. There's nothing happening on Indeed. There's nothing happening on LinkedIn. There's nothing happening elsewhere. And if you go and you see like, oh, there's like 4 or 5 or 6 opportunities like within the first, 13 seconds, maybe worth the money. I'd definitely never tell you how to spend your money, but if you feel like you've already washed up on the other job boards, I would give every new, which is what we're talking about here on this call, give every new way of looking for jobs a try if you feel like the other ones aren't working.
I have a question. I mean, is Flex Jobs advertising that they have hidden jobs that are not advertised? Like when you use the Google aggregator, it's kind of frightening. Like you'll have one job that's advertised in 6 different spots. And so that would certainly diminish your odds if, each spot is getting 500 applicants, But
So
if Flex Jobs was just having a very narrow pool that isn't getting 600 applicants.
if if I may, we don't talk about this on this call really much at all, but we spend a lot of time talking about LinkedIn. So as a former corporate recruiter, um, there are some employers that I worked for where we spent money for one aggregator that would aggregate. If I post a job, I post it once. It could go to 45 to 60 different job boards. We talk a lot about LinkedIn. So when you go to LinkedIn, you may see, oh, already 100 applicants or 400 applicants. That's LinkedIn. That's not their career page. That's not all the other places that they're aggregating this job out. So the number, like we say often, it's 400 and 500 applicants. There is a chance it could be 8,000 if it's going out to multiple aggregators, and you just never know. So when you go to a new job board, that's another good point. Just because you see it somewhere else doesn't mean that's the only place that it is, which is even.
This is why we do not emphasize online job boards here. We never, never, never think that you're going to necessarily get a role there. Now, somebody will sometimes get hired. I say sometimes because even if they post the job on the job board, they may have internal referrals. They may be, there's all kinds of ways that employers find people. So never, ever, 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 ever put your eggs at all in those baskets. You can try, you can post, but just set it and forget it. Just put it out there, and that's fine. If you want to go try, see if you can find an internal champion, somebody who can get you noticed, that's great. The majority of your time really needs to be focused on the networking, which is what we're about to do.
Excuse me, with all due respect, I got 3 job offers because of the Google aggregator. Okay. But that was all last year. And what I'm seeing and part of the reason, frankly, is at least 2 of the companies were tiny. One of them said they only had 3 people they interviewed, and I was the best one. It was small companies on that. But I think it's fair to say that not everything is in the Google aggregator. I think there are hidden jobs, there are executive jobs, there are other things. That's why I think it's necessary to potentially look other places. And I think Indeed and Dice are pretty good. I just haven't found anything much on those.
And it's industry specific too, Dave. Like the point you made, the point we're making, like all of them are true because industry specific. Some industries only post on Dice, like only, besides their career website. And if you're in that industry, good for you because you're, you'll maybe just find that job there. Small companies, a lot of times they don't have the money to pay these big aggregators. So a lot of times they may just, say, hey, we're going to post in this one place. And that's where we usually get candidates from the best. So we're going to post in that one spot. So again, to Shira's point, this is why we're offering different ways in addition to that. But yeah, if you're a skilled job searcher, headhunter for yourself, you've learned where and where not to look for opportunities. Last thing I'll say that sure was kind of making me think of a second ago was the only thing you can control maybe is if you set job alerts for the next 24 hours, like a
Yeah,
job that hits the board within the first 24 hours. If you
that's
can
true.
get in with that crew, that's a good shot.
Yeah, that's true. And also to your point, Alki, about industry, or even say profession and lane, Dave, you're in the IT world, which is a whole other community, whole other kind of realm. It operates almost in its own sphere, right? And so I would say people who are outside of tech are probably going to have a different experience than the folks who are in the tech world.
Yeah.
Tech is booming. It's been booming for many years.
And you
You'll
have
always find a
specialized
job there.
skills. I mean, it's a different kind of realm.
Yeah.
So with all that said, oh yeah, Vern.
I would just say one other reason to, avoid job boards, and I took a deeper dive into this past week about companies posting ghost jobs, where HR people are saying, well, it's a crazy world out there. Let's post a job. We're not really hiring, but let's, we can, who knows, we may hire 6 months from now. So let's start to grab some, talent. So you don't know that it's a ghost job. That's the problem. And so that's just, to me, that's from an ex-HR person, I would never do that. I just can't fathom that, but that's what's going on. Not everywhere, but it's just another reason why it's so difficult with job boards.
So
We got two other questions in the chat after you say this, sure.
okay. No, keep going. What's in the chat?
Oh, Abby's asking, isn't it better to have target companies and network within those companies?
Sort of. People do talk about having targeting companies. There's nothing wrong with that, but understand that one company or two or three or four or five companies will need to have the right role at the right time for somebody with your exact skill. So it's a very, very limited way to do a job search. This is exactly why we talk about networking so much, because when you go the other route, when you go with the people who do what you do or in your community, then on aggregate, they're going to hopefully hear about more opportunities that are on a broader reach to be able to then say, oh, I heard about something from a company you may not have ever heard of, and I'm going to refer it to you. But it's all good. Yes, you can have target companies. Yes, you can use the job board. Yes, you should use networking. It's everything, everything, everything. We just want to make sure that people aren't solely using only the traditional job boards. But yeah, target companies are totally fine. If you also in particular, if you feel like your skill set and your career interests and your career experience really, really align with that organization, it's worth it. And I'll just give you an example from yesterday. So I'm coaching an individual. This is an interesting story, actually. I'm career coaching an individual. He's an attorney. He's actually a new attorney, but he spent like 11 years in the Navy, and he was working on nuclear subs. And man, oh man, does this guy have a passion for nuclear energy. I mean, he just believes it is the most sustainable, economical way to go. Well, as it happens, I used to do searches for the Nuclear Energy Institute, which is the trade association for the nuclear world. And turns out, I said, hey, do you have any connections there? He says, yes, I actually have two. So we crafted two beautifully written outreach notes to two different leaders, one who currently works there and one who used to work there, explaining his situation and how passionate he is and qualified to work at that organization. Very targeted, right? And hopefully something will come of it. But the point is that there's a reason why they would be interested in him, not only him interested in them. The employer has to be attracted to you as much as you are attracted to them. That's how typically there's going to be a match. So it can't just be just an aspirational, hey, I'm interested in your mission. Ideally, you have something in your background that says to them, hey, I'm really qualified to be working for your organization just because of risk management, if possible.
With that being said, it's funny. And Abby, by the way, I was laughing when you came back and said I have 40 target companies. Not laughing at you, but laughing because it's funny, but it's also good. So Abby says she has 40 target companies. If you put that together with what Shira just said, which we don't have enough time to do on this call, but it's kind of what we're doing on this call with the networking piece. Right now, there's probably not enough time, and we haven't rolled out yet the way that we really want to talk about networking. But I'll use your 40 target companies as an example and tie it into what Shira said. So what Shira did with that coaching client and the institute, she took a moment to think for a second and she remembered, okay, here's a community. Here's a community where here's a community this guy is passionate about. She locked in on the institute because she had a relationship there. Then she started crafting a letter to sell his skills, his passion, his brand, his knowledge, his expertise, which the more things I go down and label, these are all things that they or someone may want. And even if they didn't want it, I'm pretty sure Shira probably would have said, hey, I got it. Maybe I'm going to look and see who else do I know, because that's what we do as headhunters. But it could take time. So as you mentioned, 40, like I could spend 6 months targeting, courting, trying to get a date with a company or an organization. If it's like 500 people with multiple, matter of fact, I'm doing it right now for a candidate with the American Heart Association. It may not land me anywhere, but I used to work with people who are now at heart. They're at kidney, they're at leukemia, there are other places that I used to work. So that's a community of preventable disease associations. I have people who have certain skills, or if they have a passion in that community, targeting them may mean, okay, who do I know who's even in that space first? That's number one, who's in that space. Secondly, it's about targeting and focusing down and spending the time to research and who's where. And hey, do you know this person? Okay, you know them. I'm not going to ask you about a job yet. What do you know about them? How well do you know them? Which is things Vern talks about all the time. It's not just knowing somebody or connecting with somebody. It's really peeling the layers back on relationships and connections to see if you can find match. Once you find voices that are trusting, or that are inside, or that may be the hiring manager or know anything about it, then you start offering what you have, as Vern talks about a lot, and we talk about in this call, teaching and giving. Well, this is who I am. And on this, that, what do you guys do? And at some point, you're either going to flat out present it, or they're going to say, that makes me think. Barbara was just talking last week in a meeting about how in about 4 weeks, they're going to post a job for X, Y, and Z. Doesn't always happen tomorrow, doesn't always happen next week. But yeah, you absolutely should be targeting, but this is the work part. It takes work. It's not just sitting down at a job board and posting and hoping. That is one way. But this targeting means you may target and get it within 2 weeks. It may take you a long time. It's pretty much like dating. It's like dating.
It is.
It's really dating.
Yep.
It's trying to get somebody's number. Once you get it, then it's what you're going to do with it. Do they respond back? All that kind of stuff. Then you got to have the first meetup, talk and get to know and find out if it's a fit. Is it a match? Are you guys heading in the same direction? It's just like dating.
It truly is. And actually, I just want to follow up on this story that Elke alluded to again. I want to clarify something, actually. I mentioned this institute only because I happen to have a relationship. I used to have a relationship. Actually, the 2 letters that we wrote are 2 of his contacts there. He met these people in law school. One person, a couple people helped him with, I don't know, some case project or whatever he was working on. We only remember that when I prompted him, and he looked in LinkedIn to see, oh, so-and-so's no longer there. He works for this and that. Oh, the so-and-so is currently the general counsel. So he's actually following up in a really specific way to remind them of him, of their relationship a while back, and now update them and say, hey, here's why I want to work for them. So the point is just exactly what Alki is saying. Reconnect with the people you know. Use LinkedIn to be very, very intentional to find the people at those target companies like Abby is talking about. With people who are in your similar lane. You want to be super, super focused, because those are the people who are going to think about you in a very attractive way. So with all of that, this is great. I have all the rooms ready to go.
Mark, one more question from Mark.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. He said, while we're on paid job boards, what are your thoughts on paying for LinkedIn?
These days, it is worth it. If you're going to do regular search, 2 reasons. If you're going to do searches on a regular basis using the search bar, and number 2, if you want to send out personalized invitations. This is a modern tip. The reason is because right now with LinkedIn's business model, If you have the free version, you are very limited. You can only send out 5 personalized invitations a month. Now you can send out as many non-personalized invitations, just generic ones. You can only send out 5 personalized invitations for 200 characters, not 300 characters. And you can't do very many searches. Like maybe you can do 2 or 3 and then they stop you. So if you're going to use the search features and if you're going to make lots of connections, it's worth it. You can do month to month. It's fine. I recommend if you're going to do it to do the middle version. I think they call it business and it's for like 70 a month. I know it's not cheap, but it could be worth it for you if you're really going to be serious about doing a lot of searching. And if not, if you just want to, send out generic invitations without personalization, more and more people are accepting of that these days. That might be another option for you. So it's just a personal choice. Okay. All right. So I have the breakout rooms ready to go. They're going to be for 15 minutes. Okay. Now here's the thing to maximize the time. And I know for room 2, which is Dave, Mark, and Matthew, you have less time per person. So sorry. Looking at the time. But for everyone, I really want to encourage you to have what I call a windshield conversation rather than a rear view mirror conversation. This is very important to maximize your time. Rear view mirror is about your history, your backstory, all the things. We're not going to do that. We're just going to have a windshield and you're going to be super specific and you're just going to person's going to open up their LinkedIn and you're going to go, okay, I think the keywords that you should, Maura and Monica are going to be together. And so, Maura might say to Monica, okay, so Monica, I think the keywords that I need for you to put into your LinkedIn are going to be public affairs, nonprofit, that kind of thing. And that quickly, just really quickly. And then Monica's going to do her search and Maura's going to look down and go, oh, interesting, interesting, interesting. Write down some names. Go ahead and again, connect offline and you can have kind of a deeper conversation. Like I said, when you get back to the main room, Alki, Vern, and I will give you some extra tips around how to make meaningful connections, but this is just the database piece of it. Make sense? We really would love for you to guys to maximize your time. So with that, 15 minutes, split up your time between the two of you as you can. Maybe someone has a little timer. And then we will see you back here in the main room. All right? Ready, set, and go. Okay. I'd pause the recording. When Vern and Alki and I were talking while you were in your breakout rooms, Alki made a really good point that yes, we put you all in lane rooms, but actually it might even be better to put you in community rooms because in the community space, you all kind of have similar contacts who are all right focused in that community. So we'll take that advice, right? So maybe next time we flip it around and make it a little bit more like the gov people, the nonprofit people, that kind of thing. Yeah, thank you. That's great. Other feedback? Was this helpful?
Any success stories?
Did you find anybody that you can connect with?
I can piggyback on that. So I think, I think that I can definitely find some folks within my network to help Stephanie. It'll just take a little bit of digging because my network's pretty big. So, and then you never know too, Shira, like who's going to lead you to another connection, right?
Correct.
So
That's exactly
I
right.
think that's important to keep in mind.
Yeah.
For sure. Maura?
I like the idea of community groups
Yeah.
because like exactly what Abby said, like people sometimes spark ideas that you don't think about when they're not quite in
Correct.
working in your field. The other thing is just I think the skills of running the exercise were really helpful for me to practice, but like being more of a contemplative person, it was harder to think on my feet immediately, like, oh, who do I know that would help Monica? Like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it takes me a little time individually to then come to the table and
Okay.
offer
So
something.
were you able, did you feel comfortable opening up your LinkedIn and actually looking at it together? So you were trying to say, as you were sort of quickly going through, you're like, oh, like fast, like who do I know? Right? It was a little bit fast for you.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people in my LinkedIn are stale a little bit. Like I would need to do a
Yeah.
initial rebuilding. So like even we pulled up someone and I'm like, I don't even remember how I met Katie. Like,
Which is typical.
So like
Right.
kind of spending that time to dissect who might be good options or
Right.
other person homework.
Absolutely. And we were talking about that also offline, is that whole, what's your relationship with those people? Are they a stranger, old acquaintance, dormant relationship, trusted colleague, somewhere on the continuum? And you're right. Making those intros, you have to think about also.
Yeah.
How do I do that? What's the strength of the relationship?
Yeah, I think everybody on the call, you've got numerous people on your LinkedIn, connections that you don't remember them. All you see is their name and like who are they and where did I meet them, but that's because that's what LinkedIn wants you to do. Okay. They want you to, click as many times as possible, make all these connections. What we're trying to get, really the outcomes for this are to find the people that you still do have a really good connection with, so that you can make an introduction or connect someone with somebody that you can legitimately say, I know this person, I know him well.
That's ideal.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. So, so in terms of go forward, right? So a couple of things we'd encourage you to do. Truly, we would love for you, if you feel comfortable, share contact info. You can even chat with each other right now if you haven't done it already. Schedule an actual meeting, maybe even in person. But at the very least, hopefully online. And online, of course, it's easier to screen share. And then really talk about, okay, this is really what I'm looking for. Here's the scope. Get to know each other, right? Ask questions, build the relationship, all the things. And then when you go and look at each other's LinkedIn, it'll be much more meaningful, hopefully. And so here's the next step. If you do find people to introduce to the other person, now what? I'm going to get kind of in the weeds here, get a little bit specific. And here's my advice for you and what to do. Okay. So let's say, so Stephanie and Abby. Okay. So let's take the two of you. So Stephanie wants to introduce Abby to Susie Cream Cheese. Okay. So, and Stephanie feels comfortable, let's just say, introducing Abby to Susie. And so what I recommend that you do, right, is Stephanie, right? And I'm sorry for going in really in the weeds here, babe, but this is almost a mentorship moment because I've done this so often. I've kind of learned like a little bit of the rhythm of it. Okay. So first of all, Abby is going to let Stephanie know a little blurb, like a 2-line, not 3 paragraphs. Now this is a mistake that a lot of people make when they're trying to do intros, is that the person who you're trying to you'll go, oh, I'm looking for a blah, 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 and here's my background and my 5,000 accomplished. No, the other person, they just need a quick scan just to quickly see, why is this person making an intro? So Abby's going to come up with a 2-line, 2-sentence little blurb about what she's looking for. Stephanie's going to say, hi, Susie. Now, by the way, step 1, CC Abby. Very, very important. Stephanie's going to CC Abby on this note to Susie. Hi, Susie. Hope you're well. Maybe a little, greeting, whatever it is. I'm excited to introduce you to my colleague, Abby, who is exploring opportunities in the X lane, Y field, community, whatever it is. Thought that the two of you might have some synergies to explore. Here is a short description as to what she's looking for. You can either, Stephanie, embed that into the email, Abby's, little paragraph, or the other way to do this is, Abby, you agree to do this. Abby writes an email to Stephanie. You prepare this in advance. Hi, Stephanie, great chatting with you recently. Thanks for agreeing to broker an introduction to Susie Cream Cheese. As we discussed, I'm seeking opportunities in blah, 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 little paragraph. Thanks, and look forward to the introduction, okay? Then all that Stephanie has to do is forward that email. Hi, Susie, love to introduce you to my CC Abby. Really excited to introduce you to my colleague, Abby. Please see below Abby's self-description as to what she's looking for. Hope the two of you will find a good time to connect, okay? So either way is fine. So that's step 1, make sure to CC Abby. Number 2, Abby, you reply all first. Don't wait for Susie to respond. You take the initiative. That's why you're CC'd on the email. So here's how you do it. Abby replies all, says, thanks, Stephanie. And in parens, I'm telling you, this is in the weeds, but it works and it's meaningful. Reply all, thanks, Stephanie, moved to BCC. And then move Stephanie to BCC so she's off the scheduling thread. Really important so that you don't fill up people's inboxes. Thanks, Stephanie, for the intro, kind intro, move to BCC. Hi, Susie. Great to connect. Love to explore synergies with you. And here's the next piece, right? Again, in the weeds. Let me know if any of the following times work to get on a Zoom call. Now, notice I said offer 3 times. Never, ever, ever say to a person that you're trying to get a meeting with, never say, let me know what times work for you. That's too much of a burden on their calendar. If you're trying to get on their calendar, you don't want to burden them with like looking at all of their times. It seems like it's kind, but it actually doesn't make sense for them because they're like, they don't even know where to start and they're going to forget about it and it's going to be too overwhelming. But if you suggest 3, not 5 times, 3 times, like an early, a lunch, a late, then they have something to work with. And then they can always also say, oh, well, no, not those times. I can do this time. Does that make sense? They're going to look around the times that you gave them to see if something does work. It's a much more effective way to get on somebody's calendar. Does that make sense? So again, CC, first email, Abby replies all, says thanks, move to BCC. Great to connect with you, Susie. Hey, would you be open to, if you're open to meeting, let me know if any of the following times work. And that's it. You could attach your resume. I don't even really feel like that's the appropriate thing at this point because really you're trying to get to know somebody as a colleague. And if there's something interesting you want to say, like maybe you have a connection to their sector or whatever, feel free to do that. But then Stephanie's off the email thread and then you and Susie can connect directly. So that's our tip right now for the introductory email. We're going to come back to you because, sake of time and all of that, we're going to come back to you with more tips, the 3 of us, Miyake and Vern, around what do you do on the networking call, right? How do you maximize that call? But today is just about the intros. Is that helpful? Okay, cool. So before we wrap up, we'll just take time for maybe one additional question. I know we've done all networking today. Any other job search question that we can address for you on any topic? Or you're just in the networking mindset now? Forgot all about resumes and interviews. All right. So with that, we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. And just so you know, I'm going to be hosting a career branding webinar this coming Monday. This is a special event I'm hosting for free. It's a 90-minute career webinar from 5:30 to 7 this Monday. Now, I would have normally put the link in the chat, but I just went to Eventbrite and apparently I don't know how I did this, but now its sales have ended. So I can't give you the official link. However, what I will do is I will put in the chat the my Zoom link that you can use. So you don't have to register for it. You can just show up. So here is the
Shira, I just want to mention I have shared it with several people and they said it was full or they had issues. And so I just told them to reach out with you directly and that
sales
to,
ended. I
to
don't know.
go that
I
way.
thought it was
So
going to be sales
just
all the way up
giving
until
you
today.
feedback. Yeah.
Thank you.
It-
Yeah. So
yeah,
go ahead and
thanks.
that is the Zoom link. So for any of you who've had the link, the invite, just send it to people and they can just show up. That's fine. And I'll see in the meantime if I can reopen the sales.
That's 5:30 to 7 on this Monday.
5:30 to 7 this Monday, the 29th. Yep, it's career branding. So I'll be talking about what is branding, how to brand your resume, how to brand your LinkedIn, for branding, for networking, for interviewing, that kind of thing. So it'll be a practical thing. Before the sales ended, we had 96 registrants. So we'll see how many people show up. It's going to be, a thing. Even if 50 show up, it'll still be a thing. I might do some breakouts and have you guys, connect with each other, but it should be pretty robust. So. All right, all. So we'll go ahead and formally end this part of the call. And for those of you who would like to stay on a short prayer call with me, you are certainly welcome to do that. Okay. So I hope everybody has a blessed day and we'll look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks.